The ranking of the highest mountains in the world is drawn up using the measurements that had sea level or altitude 0 as a reference. The top includes only peaks belonging to the Himalayas and Karakoram mountains. Mountain ranges outside of Asia are not even represented in the top 100. The highest peak, except for those belonging to the Himalayan conglomerate, is Aconcagua in Argentina at 6,962 meters and belongs to the Andes Mountains. Compared to the dozens of colossi of Asia, our Moldavanu looks like a dwarf. Europe is not doing too well either, being far, thousands of meters higher than the world's highest peak, Chomolungma. Yes, it is about Everest, the target of every professional or amateur mountaineer. The highest mountains are not necessarily the most difficult to climb. K2 and Annapurna peaks in the Himalayas are famous for their difficulty, but also the Denali Peak in Alaska or the two Swiss trophies, Matterhorn and Eiger, are hunted precisely for extremely dangerous climbing challenges. 10. Annapurna I 8,091 meters. In Sanskrit, Annapurna means full of food, interpreted in our case as goddess of harvests. It is found near a slightly higher peak, also present in our ranking, Cho Oyu. More than 60 attempts to climb the great summit have ended in the death of daring climbers, thus placing Annapurna in a leading place and in the category of the most dangerous mountains in the world. Nepal is home to the 10th highest mountain in the world, along with many other truly dizzying heights over 8,000 meters. 09. Nangahar Parbat 8,126 meters. The closest peak above 8,000 meters to Europe is located on the western edge of the Himalayan range, Nangahar Parbat. Loosely translated as Bear Mountain, its imposing silhouette towers over the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan. It is one of the few mountain peaks that has not been conquered in winter until the writing of this article. Although attempts have been made to conquer it since the 19th century, the first climber to do so is Hermann Buhl, the Austrian who managed to climb all 8,126 meters in the team formed together with other Austrian and German climbers. 08. Monosula 8,163 meters. Spirit Mountain, Monosula or Kutang is located in the Nepalese Mansiri Himal Massif and was first conquered in 1956 by a team of climbers from Japan. It is one of the mountains included by some adventure tour operators on the list of well-defined trekking routes, organized, of course, depending on the weather, quite changeable at such altitudes. A more special feature of the Monosula Peak is the unusually large list of animal and plant species that surround it, some of which are on the verge of extinction. 07. Dhaulagiri I 8,167 meters. Among the 14 mountain peaks of over 8,000 meters in the world, on the 7th place we find the mountain Dhaulagiri I in Nepal, translated from Sanskrit as the beautiful, dazzling mountain. The most spectacular detail about this mountain is the fact that in 1960 the highest airplane landing was achieved here, at 6,080 meters altitude. The first attempt to conquer it was made by British explorer and officer James Owen Marion Roberts in the 1950s, followed by several other teams over the next decade, culminating in the Austrian-Swiss-Nepalese expedition in 1960, the first to reach the 8,167 meters. 06. Cho Oyu 8,188 meters. The second most visited mountain peak above 8,000 meters after Everest, Cho Oyu is located on the border between Tibet and Nepal. It was conquered for the first time in 1954, but it was added to the world mountain map by the famous Edmund Hillary in 1952. It is considered the least dangerous mountain above 8,000 meters among the total of 14, all located in the Himalayan range. 05. Makalu 8,485 meters. The pyramid-shaped silhouette of Mount Makalu rises somewhat isolated, between two other notable adjacent peaks, Chomo Lonzo and Makalu 2, some 19 kilometers southeast of Everest, on the Nepal-Tibet border. If its neighbors failed to reach the threshold of 8,000 meters, Makalu is considered one of the most difficult mountain peaks in the world, having been conquered only in 1955 by a team of French climbers, during the golden period of climbing opened by the New Zealander Hillary. Alexandru Gavin, the young Romanian climber, managed to conquer it in 2008. The mountain is located in the middle of the Makalu Barren National Park, one of the most beautiful mountain ecosystems in the world. 04. Lhotse 8,516 meters. In the Tibetan language, Lhotse means southern peak and features the longest steep climb in the world. The southern slope rises after 3,200 meters of near vertical. The main peak was conquered in 1956 by the Swiss Ernst Ries and Fritz Luxinger, but the second highest peak of the mountain, even if it is located at a slightly lower altitude 8,414 meters, remained untouched by human foot for a long time, being approached only in 2001 by a team of climbers from Russia. By 2008, the mountain was conquered by more than 350 climbers. 03. Inchanjunga 8,586 meters. India's highest mountain peak, Inchanjunga is found on the border with Nepal in the area known as Inchanjunga Himal. It was conquered for the first time in 1955 by a team of British climbers and dominates a region that includes 14 other mountain peaks over 7,000 meters. In local mythology, a demon similar to Bigfoot is said to inhabit Inchanjunga, first mentioned as a bipedal creature in 1925. Furthermore, the mountain is said to support one of its slopes, a valley of immortality, popular in Tibetan Buddhist religion and culture. 02. K2 8,611 meters. One of the mountains that have never been climbed in winter, K2 or Chogori earned its nickname of the Wild Mountain due to the high fatality rate among brave climbers who attempted to conquer it. It is located on the border between the countries of Pakistan and China, being somewhat easier to approach from the former. Much more difficult to climb even than Everest, K2 was first conquered in 1954 by a team of Italian climbers, followed 23 years later by the next victorious expedition. 01. Everest 8,848 meters. We have reached the most coveted position in our ranking, which tries to organize, through text and photos, the highest mountains of the world. We all know that Everest or Chomolungma occupies the first place in this ranking, the mountain conquered by Sir Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and his partner, the Nepalese Sherpa Tenzing Norgay, in 1953. As a curiosity, Mount Everest is not the first peak of the world measured from base, this distinction going to the Mauna Kea volcano in Hawaii 10,200 meters. Compared to Olympus Mons, the highest mountain on Mars, which rises almost 22 kilometers high, our Everest seems, however, a joke of nature. Olympus Mons is not the highest mountain in our solar system either, but Rasilvia, 22 kilometers, the most pronounced prominence on the giant asteroid Vesta, discovered at the beginning of the 19th century.
If this material has piqued your interest, I invite you to like and subscribe to this channel. All the best.